This is really heavy.
Yes, it is, but I'm the woman to handle it.
I might just set this down for a while and then pick it up when you're about to leave. How does it feel?
You know what? It feels pretty good. It's not my style to bask in it too much.
Okay.
I'm good with it. Then I'm like, I'll have a drink, something to eat, and then I'm good.
You made a really impassioned speech as well. Clearly, this movie and this play, August Wilson, in fact, means an awful lot to you.
Yeah, he does. I mean, because his mission when he started writing was to chronicle every decade of life that African Americans lived in a decade. But he chronicled it by just telling stories about our relationships, our lost dreams, how we wanted to be big people, but, because of the circumstances that were given to us, they weren't. And I love that because I think oftentimes with African Americans, if you didn't make it into a history book, if you're not a walking social statement, then the story is not worthy to be told.
Yes.
And there are times when I just want to tell people the fact that I'm just a living, breathing person. I'm a woman. I'm sexual. I'm joyful. I'm funny. I'm tragic. I'm all of those things. That in and of itself should be worthy. It's like Arthur Miller said about Willie Loman. He's not the finest man who ever lived, but his story deserves to be told.
Absolutely. And this is, of course, a play that you did with Denzel a few years ago on Broadway to great success. A few years elapsed between doing the play and then the film. 7 years. So when you had to play Rose again, was it like riding a bike? Did you just remember off the bat, or did you have to ease your way back into it?
No. It was not. It was not like riding a bike. It was absolutely terrifying. Because usually when you do a movie or a television show, you have to sustain a performance for maybe 10 seconds. But when you have a 33-page scene, you have to sustain a performance for probably a 20-minute take. That takes skill and effort. That takes, reminding, your muscles. But then you have to revisit a character and wake up to it in a different way. And for me, there were certain things that I never got when I was on the stage. And I was hoping no one saw that I didn't get it. But I never got it, especially the last scene. Never hit for me on the stage. Okay. And on the screen, it would not have worked if I didn't get it. But I didn't get it until I had a kid. And then I said, I got it. Yeah. And so it takes, I've done plays for a year, and I was always discovering new things. And it was the case with this one, too.
Fantastic. Let's take some questions from the audience. Yes, please, over here.
Hi, Viola. I'm with the BAFTA crew. You mentioned in your speech, you mentioned your daughter. I wonder what your thoughts are on the opportunities that will be open to her and the next generation of African Americans.
Well, I hope her opportunities obviously will be different from mine, only because she has just more choices. But I don't rely on that. I always want her to be a game changer, because I believe what still is a deficiency is we have 1 year of having a plethora of African American movies like Moonlight, like Hidden Figures, like Fences, and then a year of nothing. I mean, people are already making Oscar predictions for next year, and there are very few African American names in them. So she has to understand that she's got to be the change that she wants to see. She can't just sit back and just assume that it already has changed, assume that people's minds have already been woken up. I mean, we see that in the political climate now, that you have to be the instrument of change.
Yes, please, you're in the second row.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jacob from Gold Derby.
Okay.
Hi. What do you think your character Rose would make of all the awards? And leading on from that, how important do you really think they are compared to these subjects within the film?
Rose? Rose was a product of 1957. Rose was a product of women. Their only purpose was keeping their house together, and they hid their pain behind perfectly waxed floors and applied lipstick. That's Rose. I don't think Rose would be on the stage. She wouldn't be in the audience. She would be, at home cooking a meal. But what the beauty of Rose and the liberating factor of Rose is that I think that she would appreciate the recognition. It's like she says, what about my life? What about me? And so I think she would appreciate recognition.
Yes, please, here in the fourth row.
Hi, Viola. It's Tom from the Metro here. Huge fan. I just wondered if you had any plans to star alongside Meryl again.
Well, I hope so. It would be an awesome combination. I think that when the two of us get together, I think that we're awfully funny and fun broads. Especially when we've had a couple of sippy sips, as I call them. But it would be awesome, yeah. Ask her that.
And then the last question for
Hi, Viola. It's me, Shafiq from US Weekly. Congrats on the awards, first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah, since you are a good friend of Meryl Streep, what do you think of President Donald Trump's comment on labeling her as an overrated actress? Thank you.
Well, anyone who labels Meryl Streep an overrated actress obviously doesn't know anything about acting. That's just it. That's just the way it is. And that's not even just directed towards Donald Trump. That's directed towards anyone. This is someone who is the master at her skill, and she has lasted for 40 years in a very difficult profession, might I add. And on top of all those things, it's one of the things that people have to know about this woman. They have to know this. She is the most honorable, the most accessible human being you could possibly want to meet. And that's a lot coming from someone who's always number one on the call sheet. I have never met anyone who has not been in her presence where she has not made them feel like the star in their own lives. That is a lot. Very humble, very gracious human being.
On that note, are there a couple of sippy sips on the agenda tonight? Are you?
Yes, and some carbs.
I should give you this heavy award back and let you enjoy your evening. Please give it up once again. Viola Davis, everybody. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!